Hello, and welcome to Emerald Thoth with me, Mark. Looking to get some more messages today from Spirit about what's happening with you, with all of us tapping into this energy. Nice bright day today, and it feels quite fiery with Mars moving into Leo, and patterns that you may have seen around 6 months ago or so, back in November, when it was back in Leo before going retrograde into Cancer. So again, there's fire energies, there's movement. What are you cutting with Mars? What needs to go and what is staying? What are you cutting off to form those parts of you that are central? What bits of dead wood are you chopping off as we move forward with a bit burst of energy now coming into the summer? Okay, start with an Urban Crow Oracle card. Just show you that I have space orb with me today and some merlinite as well. It's quite a fun crystal to have. Okay, first 2 cards today. Make that 3 cards. Tough ones from the Urban Crow. So we have number 5, Battle. This is a tough energy. 2 crows here having a bit of a barney, as we say around these parts. Battling over those flowers, battling by some dandelions. There's a load of other crows just on the line. So you could be facing battles. 5s that represent change as well. Leo's the 5th house, and the 5 of Wands can represent battles and competition. So you may be facing a battle with the people around you, with your place in the world, and maybe within yourself. Next is isolation. Here, obviously, you may be in isolation in these battles. You may be frustrated, stagnant at the moment. There's rain on this card. There's also a flock of birds over here in the distance. Where you are now, either internally or externally, or a mix of both, may just be causing a bit of frustration. You may just feel at this particular moment in time a bit like you don't fit in, or you're not in the right place. And that would go to the next card, Fear. And when you're not quite in the right environment, you're not quite sure where you are, you're not quite sure what's going on, you can't see, it's kind of a shadowy flock here, where you're meant to be, then you can have those fears. More dandelions as well in this card, but the scarecrow is an illusion of sorts. It's not a real person, but the crow has to figure that out. And so do we have to figure out what is real and what is not, what fears in our head are there when we're in this isolation, what are those actual battles that we have, because you should always pick your battles wisely. And on the bottom of the deck, there's perspective, and there's distance. And so there may be a move, and maybe you just move somewhere today, or you go somewhere over the next week, or you go to another country. With a bit of distance comes that perspective, changing your view, seeing it a different way, seeing past what these fears are, seeing them differently from what has always been in your mind, and getting a bit of distance, whether that's emotional, mental, physical distance, or a mix of all of them. Okay, take a card from the Secrets of the Ancestors. Let's try and move the energy on a bit and out of that fear base. Okay, so we have 2 cards here. This follows on from a bit of this perspective card, and that is the Martyr, which is essentially the hanged man. Sacrifice and self-reflection. And obviously in here, as is often seen the case, and like the story of Odin, of suspending yourself, surrendering yourself to get a different perspective, to get some form of enlightenment. There is many roses with all kind of colours of the chakras above here when this martyr is ready to come up. But at the moment, if we flip it round, the martyr there is kind of doing a job. It's in a state of being to find a sense of understanding, to find a sense of cosmic understanding, divine understanding. And so there's flowers there when you're ready to raise up and flip round, but at the moment you may just need a period of introspection, of changing perception. The other card that came out is the Root of Water, highly sensitive, number 28. So this talks to the Ace of Cups, and there's a flow. In fact, it's the Page of Cups, it's not the Ace of Cups, because in here's a frog rather than a fish coming out. There's ideas there ready to be rooted in the earth, ready to be brought down, but at the moment you may be in an explorative phase of your emotions, of what you want, of what serves you, of what doesn't. And there's an element of pregnancy here. There may be things that you're ready to birth, that are ready to come out, but you're still solidifying those, you're still getting a container for those waters. This is also quite Neptunian, quite water-based, the Hangman. So there is a bit of a phase of isolation, a bit of standstill. The bottom of the deck is the Star. And in the Star is obviously balancing out the waters. And maybe that's where you're heading, is balancing out the waters and coming forward and shining. It's a spiritual rebirth on this card. And so it's probably a case that you're in that phase of consolidating, of understanding, of finding the right perspective for you to then raise up and raise out, and move out of where you are. And again, that can be physically, mentally, emotionally, or a mix of all three. Okay, take a card from the Time Traveler's Oracle. The Source, Universe, Oneness of All. Okay. So on the bottom of the deck, there's a card that came out yesterday, which is Freedom. And that's what you're searching for, that's what you're looking for, that's the perspective that you're going for. And here is where we start to get some sort of answers. Power. And here are the dinosaurs in the Jurassic period. There's a volcano in the background, there's birds in the air. And it can talk to some kind of historic power within you. Number is 32 as well. It can talk about some ancient power, some ancient strength within you, some resilience. The two cards here aren't kind of predatory. Like a Brontosaurus and Triceratops, these are more thick-skinned, resilient type animals. And maybe that's what you're looking for, that strength and that determination and that resilience and that age-old knowledge of your power. Okay, we'll take a card from the Divine Masters. Please help guide this reading for the collective that taps in. Okay, so 3 guides have come today. At the bottom of the deck is Lady Ishtar, a message that we had a few days ago about being golden and grounded. And there's a few cards that have come up quite a bit in the last few readings that we've done. So Lady Portia is here again, overcoming limitations, karmic release, let go of the need to be right. So it's stepping into this crown chakra, this divine kind of cosmic certainty within yourself, surety. And to do so, you have to overcome your limitations, you have to release those fears, you have to release what's not serving you, to cast away the dead wood that is no longer needed. Because then you leave the parts of you that shine, not the parts of you that dim you. And that will then reflect into the areas that reflect the same back to you. Also is Joan of Arc again. Sacred activist, do not be afraid, stand up for your beliefs. A lot more obvious example of that Mars energy. You can see the kind of fire within that, and this is talking about that kind of more masculine based strength. Even though Joan of Arc was female, it can indicate it doesn't have to be a man or a woman, but just that energy that you're embodying, that strength, that will, that desire to stand up for what you believe in, and to have that level of surety, which is something that Joan of Arc did, to stand up for the things that she did at the age that she was. She would even do things like dress up as a boy, and even though it was frowned upon by certain people in certain areas, it's what she did for her mission, and she was unafraid in that, and she got a lot of confidence from divine faith. And the word confidence comes from the root confidere, is with faith, with belief, with God, with source, with universe. And when we act in that space, then it can get us to do things that would go beyond the norm or what we normally do in an egoic mindset. And so the final card that came out, Lady Venus. That says light activation, call to action, power surge, earth mission. And that's giving a sense of you being this being that stands in love and light, that has that power, that old soul power. She's very calm, very serene, but it also talks about power surge. It talks about an earth mission. It talks about a call to action. So all of these things, there is a call for you, and that's probably where this frustration is, in this fear and that isolation of where do I go? And you may be staying in that space just for now, or have been in that space just to try and find the answers within and come up with a different perspective, and it looks like you have. And now it's saying, believe in that power, believe in that call, believe in that mission that you know in sense and that you would have had from a young age, and the world would have always made you doubt. But there's a call coming, there's a movement. And in here, it's a light activation. It's you being a light worker, a light warrior, and using your power and energy in the form that you use it, in light and love, not in that sense of so much just an aggressive space. It's using that Mars energy in a different way. It's using that Leo, creative, showing yourself the sun energy in a way that's going to help the earth. So keep going, keep working on it. It's an ongoing process, and you have everything you need to stand in that power. You're hearing the messages, and they'll become clearer and they'll become louder, and the planets are moving now, the earth is moving now, and there are shifts that are changing in the world, and when you're ready, you'll go with them, and you're always going with them. Okay, thank you for being here. All my love. Namaste.